Welcome to the Greatness School. On the Greatness Talk platform today, we want to look at the subject of thinking. As a man or woman thinks in his or her heart, so is he or she. Thinking. How to become a critical and creative thinker. Critical and creative thinking is the highest form of thinking. Have you ever wondered how some people come up with some very novel ideas, inventions, new things, books, etc. A book like this, The Ideal Lawyer, by yours truly, Ambrose Weda. Soft skills. Several books, as you can see them all behind me here. Written, people have come up with them, written, very novel, very educative. Have you ever wondered how they come up with this? These are people we call critical thinkers. As I've said, critical thinking is the highest form of activity a human being can engage in. Inventions are thoughts that are turned into ideas, and ideas are brought into the physical universe through thinking. Remember the creator of all things, the creator of the universe. He did not give us this pen, chairs, the chair I'm sitting on, the cameras we are using, the clocks. He did not give it to us. He left it out for us to figure them out, to bring them up, to give birth to them. That's why we are talking about brain children. The buildings we are having, we figured them out because he gave us the power to think critically and bring out answers. Remember, all serious human activities involve thinking. Even eating involves thinking, walking involves thinking, driving involves thinking, eating involves, everything you do involves some level, some degree of thinking. But the highest form of thinking is critical thinking. How do you become a critical and creative thinker? I trust you have looked at and listened to our other YouTube where we are saying thinkers rule the world. The 7 dimensions of productive thinking. Please look at it. Listen to it. Consume that material and add it to this. It will start shedding light, and you will start seeing how it is important to be to look at it, and then how you can develop yourself into a critical thinker, capable of doing something like this, capable of invention, capable of writing, capable of coming back up with some giving birth. So how do you become a critical creative thinker? Number 1, you become a critical creative thinker first by understanding who is a critical or creative thinker. I said you watch our video, Thinkers Rule the World, the 7 dimensions of thinking. We have defined thinking in that video. We now want to look at the critical thinking. Critical thinking is careful, goal-directed thinking. Careful thinking directed at a distinct goal. This involves several things: observation, analysis, interpretation, reflection, evaluation, inference, explanation, problem solving, decision making, etc. Several, it encompasses a higher form of thinking because you give birth in the process. You give birth to brain children. The key is you have a goal. And what is the goal? Solving problems, making decisions, serving needs, bringing up new ideas from the old ones. That is critical thinking. So as I said, how do you become a critical thinker? Creative thinker? Number 1, you must have a desire to satisfy a need. Critical thinking is inspired or triggered by a need. It must be goal focused. A need is what is required for proper function. Like we need oxygen, we need food, we need water. So you must have a desire to satisfy a specific need. There are no choices. There must be a solution. When coronavirus struck, there was a need to get a vaccine, a need to get a reprieve so that people just don't die. So people had to think critically. They analyzed things, they evaluated, they did things. So that the gap which is there has to be filled. That's why today we celebrate there are several vaccines. There are several protocols that keep us safe. So there must exist an honest desire to fix a problem, to satisfy a need, to make a contribution, or even personal gain. So critical thinking cannot just be aimless. It cannot be accidental. It cannot be by chance. It must be a desire to satisfy a need. Number 2, critical thinking must be laser focused, fully focused, directed at an issue, at the need, at the desire to make a solution. You have to align the thought patterns, belief systems, emotions, and actions towards realizing the vision or the goal or satisfying the need. So it is not just general thinking, wandering mind. You think about Britain, then you think about London, then you think about South Africa, then you think about race, then you think about food. No. Critical thinking involves selecting and focusing on a specific thing or a series or pattern of things. Then you direct, you reorder your mind to look at it. Like we had coronavirus pandemic, we had people have to continue traveling, there must be a vaccine, people have to be safe. So you have to look at the virus and the protocols, laser focus. That involves that you exclude all irrelevant, negative, discouraging material, people, and things so that you focus. It is like putting aside everything to meditate, to put your mind directed at a particular thing, at a particular issue, for a particular outcomes. Laser focus. So number 1, you have to have a need, a desire, a goal. Then number 2, you focus on it intensely. Number 3, to be a critical thinker, critical and productive thinker, you need and must keep a clean mind. Keep the mind clean. What do I mean by a clean mind? A clean mind is a mind full of hope that you will succeed in getting the solutions, in satisfying the need. A mind that sees and embraces possibilities. It is possible, it is doable. A mind full of confidence that success is in the horizon. You will succeed. A mind that does not entertain fixed beliefs. You have flexible beliefs. A mind that is grounded on virtues. Virtues like love, industry, honesty, the good things, connection, survival of the humanity. A clean mind. A clean mind is free from prejudices, judgment, or despair. A clean mind is one which is agile, not exhausted, not tired. You cannot think critically when you're already prejudiced, when you've already made judgment, when you have hatred in your mind, when you have prejudice in your mind. No. To be a critical and creative thinker, you must keep a clean mind. That is why you hear something like the writer's block. This comes as long as the mind is clogged, then the train of thought is cut. and you stop until you clean the mind. So keep a clean mind. Number 4, for you to be a critical and creative thinker, you have to fertilize the mind. The mind is a garden. You can grow things in it. That is how we hold beliefs. Children are born with a special mind. And then we start planting material, issues, prejudices. So you fertilize your mind. You enrich your mind. How do you enrich your mind? With a good, useful information. That is where we bring in education, training, learning, counseling, mentorship. You fertilize your mind. You expand and broaden your mind. You gather all relevant material on the issue of focus. You educate yourself intensely on that. You do research, you learn, you get inspiration, you talk to motivators. You are like you are moving in a single-minded manner with a lot of material, a lot of information. You read books, wisdom books, scriptures, facts, articles, biographies, academic material, scientific material, all this depending on the solution you want to get. Most of the things we think about have been written about. Somebody somewhere has written about it. You may not know where the book is, where the material is, but with research, you will be able to access. And then it is at the higher level of knowledge that new knowledge comes in. Because once you have gotten all the knowledge, then you look at the gap and new knowledge splashes your mind and you fill in the gap. So you listen also to wise people, successful thinkers, successful people, people who have done that or done other things that shows you success. Encourage us. You fertilize the mind if you are going to be a critical, creative thinker. You create from a point of knowledge. You create from a point of light. The Christian Bible says you are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Light means your knowledge, your understanding, your wisdom lightens the world. It is through knowledge, understanding, and wisdom that we've been able to bring in new ideas, bring in new things, bring in new inventions. That's why we can fly today to New York, America, from Nairobi, Kenya, to New York, America, in specific time and safely, because people are able to fertilize their minds from the original inventions, and now we have higher versions grown and developed from available information, available material. You add in your mind and you get a new product. Number 5, to become a critical and creative thinker, you must think intentionally. Intentionally, critical thinking is intentional thinking. It's not only focused on an issue, but you must think deliberately, consciously. The goal must be in my mind. It must be goal-oriented, focus-pointed, and deliberately. Thinking is a serious occupation. Solomon, the wisest man that ever lived, said, as a man or stroke woman thinks in his or her heart, so is it. So you have to think intentionally. If you are thinking intentionally, you exclude things like worry, despair, because worry is thinking generally without looking for a solution. You're just thinking. If you're thinking about sickness, oh, I have this sickness, or so and so is unwell, so and so is unwell, oh, we don't know, he may die, she may die, oh, we may die, she may die, but you're not thinking of solutions. So critical thinking is about intentional thinking. You do not allow your mind to wander off the target. You think purposefully on one subject or theme at a time. Number 6. If you are going to be a critical thinker that produces results, you have to identify thinking triggers and the thinking spot. What are thinking triggers? These are activities or things that trigger you to think, trigger a thought process. They are called thought process triggers. There's some activities or even a sport. Some people like myself, when I'm in the shower or when I take a long walk, you will find that my mind takes ideas for new books, chapters, how to improve books, how to do what, how to solutions to problems that I have had before, things I wanted solutions over. It comes up when I'm in the shower or when I take a long walk. Other people think when they are meditating, when they are praying, when they are singing, when they are in solitude, or when they are silent, or when they are alone, or when they are whatever. You identify thinking triggers and the thinking spot. There is a strange thing that if you have a thinking spot, the moment you enter that spot, slowly the thinking aura, the thinking energy engulfs you. How do you tell this? You will find that if you walk into a temple or a church or a cathedral, even if you are all alone and there's nobody watching you, there is some air, some energy that just comes and you are like, this is a solemn place. This is a solemn place and you can't do certain things there. Also, on the other hand, when you walk into, let's say, a disco theater, even if you are whatever, you will always find that that feeling comes. So we are talking about slowly the thinking aura is generated. Identify triggers and the spot. Some people when they enter their bedroom, some people when they enter their sitting room, some people when they enter the temple, some people when they are walking, some people. So you must identify this so that when you want to critically think about an issue, you get into that activity or that spot. You must set sessions or time for thinking. You must schedule thinking as a business. If you have an issue, you have a problem, you have something, you know the time, the season, the thinking triggers, the thinking spot, the problem, the focus, that you say, I will take this time. Think in the morning, I think when I'm driving, I think go into a quiet place, you go into the wood, the forest, you go into the woods, thinking time. Prepare yourself appropriately, schedule times and sessions when you post everything else and settle down to think. This is called thinking moments. It's not every day we are writing a book like this. No. There are times when you sit and say, now I want to write, now I want to think, now I want to change. Sometimes you write things, you want to change them, they are difficult, and you find that the brain has stopped thinking. You then stop things, you rest, then eventually you gather yourself, you step the time after, let's say you have had some meal, you have rested, you say, now let me go back to thinking. It can also be a time for meditation, prayer, rest times. But make it regular. Make it a habit that you have regular times, regular habit of thinking. Thinking things. Open a chapter in your mind called Thinking Chapter. Number 8. For you to be a creative, productive thinker, critical, creative thinker, you must create mental pictures. Human beings think in pictures and images first. Words are so inaccurate that they cannot fully represent what we think. What do I say? For instance, when I say a cow, you will look in your mind, which cow are you seeing? When I say a car, you'll find when I say a car, for me I'm thinking of a Toyota make. Somebody is thinking of a Daimler Benz. Another one is thinking of a truck. Somebody else is thinking of a lorry. But all we have said, a car, a truck, When I say the word food, you need some food to eat. Somebody's thinking of a snack, somebody's thinking of a burger, somebody's thinking of fish, somebody's thinking of all this. That is why we think in pictures. God created us to think in pictures. We see in the mind first, then translate into the world. The universe communicates in pictures. So whatever you want, you must be able to see it. That's how we come up with things like a blueprint. You go to an architect, you want a building, you want a structure, you will have to give them the idea. I want it to be like this, I want it to be this size, I want it to look like this, I want it painted like this, like this. You create mental pictures. Draw it in your mind and see it as you want it to be. Then you make it become. See what you desire to have. I saw this book before it was written. Before I started writing it, I saw it. The chapters in it, I saw it. I saw the chapters, I saw them, I designed. And that is what designed which books do I read to augment my ideas, to fertilize my mind. You have to create a mental picture. That's how even the covers are designed. Somebody has a mental picture. When you see this, then immediately gives you a picture. It has something to do with the lawyers. You look at it like this, it has something to do with the lawyers, just by seeing the picture. Even if you saw it like this without the word ID lawyer, you'd say, this looks like a lawyer's wig, so it has something to do with the lawyers. So pictures are the most accurate. Learn to create mental pictures, think in pictures. Number 9. Whatever you want to see, whatever you want to create, the problem you want to solve, saturate your mind with it. Keep the mind filled with a specific matter of concern. Roll it over again and again. Think about it again and again. Research on facts and matters relating to it. Talk about it. Explore all dimensions. Look into the details. Work out possible solutions as you roll it into your mind. Get clues, get mind clues. They say, as a man or woman thinks in his or her heart, so is he or she. The more you saturate into your mind, the more you open up the frequency from where you receive answers, from where you receive solutions, where you receive new ideas. And as you do this, you anticipate the solutions. This is the area that has been combined to mean positive thinking and focus or earnest desire. So you saturate your mind. You will find when your mind is saturated, you dream about the issue. And as you dream, you see things coming, you see solutions. So you saturate. You don't just saturate your other irrelevant material. Number 10, thinking that enables you to be creative. You must be able to draw conclusions. Keep your mind, mental eyes open and alert for signals and clues. They always come, they are subtle. When you think about topics in a book like this, you'll always find something as just remembered something. That's why writers normally have books, have notebooks and a pen, because ideas flash into your mind and then you write down. You hear even how the law of gravity was discovered. Somebody was just lying down somewhere under a tree. Then he saw a fruit fall. And he then wondered, why did it not go up? Why did it come down? It flashed into his mind. It provoked research, and we have conclusions. So you write down ideas as they flash through during your thinking moments or even other moments once you have saturated your mind with the issue at hand. And continuously review. As you do this, you refine your ideas. You refine them. New ideas can be vague. They can be raw. So you keep on refining. I want you to imagine the first brothers who designed the first aeroplane. It was very raw and rudimentary. About 50 years later, we have now refined the ideas. Refined it, and it works. I want you to imagine the first 1 month when the issue of corona came up in the world. people were locked down and there were total fear. Along the way, we have refined ideas, we have refined knowledge, we have refined information, and there are protocols now. So inventions, new ideas can come in form of clues. You refine them. Wow. In conclusion, allow me to quote German physicist famous for the law of relativity, inventor Sir Albert Einstein. He said, and I quote, "The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking." May you grow your ability to think critically and to come up with new ideas. Critical and creative, productive thinking. Thank you so much, and God bless you.